and we will start our Saturday off right here. So as you can see, I am not Chris Doyle this morning, but Chris is actually on the move today. So he's in the car and maybe listening in. I'm not sure, but he wasn't going to have good service. So I am your host today, Cindy Landis. If you don't know me, welcome. And today we're excited because we have a phenomenal guest. She is absolutely crushing it and moving up through the ranks very quickly. Her team is just really knows how to do this and are working well together. I know she's part of an overall team that just has so many leaders on it. So I want to welcome Haley Lee. And Haley, go ahead and unmute yourself because it looks like I muted you. I
I'm
did
here.
that.
Good morning.
And we're going to spotlight you too. Get you spotlighted. There you go. Okay. Well, Haley, so today, Saturday, we've got so many things going on. We have the Epic Club, we have a launch of a new product coming up. But as Chris Doyle always says, we don't have a plan here on Saturday mornings because this is just a Saturday morning conversation. You're in your living room. I see a beautiful background. Is that really your real background?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. It
Wow,
is.
it looks beautiful out there. Look at that
Thank
green
you.
grass.
Yep.
So we're just in the living room. I actually am in a fake living room, but I am in my office. So, but we're just sitting here having a conversation. But what we want is someone that's really doing well. I know you sit on all kinds of committees. You're on the Partners Council. You're CEO level. You're moving through the Epic Club. We just want you to give us a little bit about, the industry, what's going on with you, your team, maybe what you do day to day to get your team going and motivated. Start anywhere you want, really. I'm going to turn it right over to you and let you just take it away.
Well, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Good morning, everybody. I am in Arrington, Tennessee, right outside of Nashville. We've been here in this area for about 10 years, and I've been a part of the network marketing direct sales industry for 14. Prior to that, I worked in corporate HR, and so I've been here for a long time. I've been a part of Partner Co specifically for the last 2 years, and I'm so grateful and honored to be here with you this morning, but also to be a part of Partner Co. And I'm very excited for what I feel like is a groundswell that's happening right now. Many of you know that we've got a big event coming up in a couple of weeks, 2 weeks actually from today here in Nashville. I hope that you all have your ticket to either the boot camp, the Saturday product launch, or both. And it's just going to be an incredible weekend. I'm excited to host that and can't wait to see all of you that are going to be able to come. But I'm trying to think of where to start, Cindy. There's so much that I could say about my journey in terms of being here. There's so much I could say about my team. And there's so much I could say about my excitement for what is ahead for us. So I'm going to try to break that down into compartments. I told Cindy
Good.
before we kicked off the recording, I've got a cup of coffee. I'm sitting in my office. I know many of you may be in your living room, but my goal is just to have a very candid, chill conversation. I'm not your hype and fluff girl. Maybe it's because of that corporate HR background. I'm just very relational and honest and really enjoy people. And so I hope that there's something that I'll say today that's helpful to you along the way. But, you know, people are my passion and I love to serve them in some capacity, whether that is through their health. We have a lot of amazing products here at Partner Co. Or whether it's teaching people how to build a business. And many days I don't feel qualified for either of those two components because I'm not a clinician, for one. And so it's kind of like, am I making the right recommendations to this person? And also because I'm not I mean, I've been in business for a long time, but a lot of it I feel like is self taught through experience. And so I didn't come here as like a former CEO at a corporate level to be able to step in and just coach people on how to build a business. There's a lot of lessons that have been compiled over the 14 years that I've been in this industry. And a lot of them are they're hard lessons that you learn right along the way. I think I was thinking about this as I was getting ready in terms of what the last 14 years for me has encompassed. I've lost a parent. I've had both of my children. I've left the corporate scene to do this full time. I've changed companies in the last couple of years. And so through all of that, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about other people. I'm so grateful for the corporate training that I had from an HR perspective because I knew coming into this that different people are motivated and inspired by different things. And so I think that it's not a one size fits all when it comes to working with people. And I knew that early on. And so you have to meet people where they are. You can want this for people more than they want it for themselves, and that comes with both the product side as well as the business side. And so I said this on the IPA call yesterday, but I think that we have to listen with to what people are telling us and then be able to help them navigate based on what it is that they tell us they want or they need in the process. And so my team, I could go on about for days. I'm so grateful and honored to work with so many incredible people. And, one of the things that's, I feel like a lesson that you have to learn along the way is that life is going to continue to happen. And so you have to bend like trees bend in the wind, but you don't break, right? And
Yeah.
so it's just being that constant source of support, regardless of what people are going through. To give you an example, we lost a lady on our team yesterday who's been sick for the last couple of months. And you do life with people, you do business with them, but you do life with them too. And life is going to continue to happen, whether it's with your family or whether it's with your children or your business or whatever it is. And so you just really have to continue to stay plugged in and to keep showing up. And, my team is so good about that. Many of them are on this call this morning. They stay plugged in whenever there's IPA calls or there's training calls that different people are offering. We try to do as many events as possible. And I think that that's important too, to really keep people engaged, but also to continue to show up for them throughout the process. So I'll take a break and
Yeah.
see if there's
Well,
anything that,
actually, there was so many nuggets you said in there and so much truth to what you said. And a lot of good, great comments and, in the chat. But I really think that you really nailed it. It's really meeting people where they're at and knowing that I can't even tell you how many times I want it more, right? We all do. We want it more for that person, like you said, for health or for business wise. But when you're building very strong in your own area, in Nashville area as well, but you also have teams in other areas. So are you keeping meetings going both locally and then through Zoom? Or what is your normal way to keep people engaged in a meeting? Or is it team meetings? What is it, do you think? Because I think right now people are longing for community.
yeah.
And and being an entrepreneur is so rewarding, but it's also hard, right?
Mhm.
Because it's a roller coaster day in and day out. You're up 1 minute and 3 hours later you're down and then you're up. And like you said, and life's still going to come at us. We both experienced that. But what would you say is the way you do keep your team plugged in to each other and involved? What's the best ways that you do that?
Well, to be honest, I would say for the first at least year to year and a half, I was going a million different directions and I was in different cities and all of that. But one of the things that was important to me when I came here, and it's still important to me, even though every day is not a reflection of this by any means, was to set boundaries here differently than I did in my previous company.
Mhm.
And that means with my family, with my children. And I have a 13-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. He'll be 9 in August. And so as they continue to get older, it's always been important to me to be present with them or to be available to them. And I'm so grateful that this industry allowed for me to leave and to have that full flexibility when my daughter was 22 months old. So neither of my kids know me to work outside of the home. However, it's still a struggle sometimes to try to balance that in some capacity because when you work from home, you're always on, right? To some degree. And so it's really trying to balance that. I try to never miss a softball game or a baseball game or a soccer game. I try to go on field trips whenever parents are allowed to go. And so I would say over the last 6 to 8 months, really, you know, Brent Palmer uses this example a lot for how he's built over the years, but to really take a 2 hour radius around your house and focus on that specific area, which is what I feel like I'm doing now with Nashville because, it's as your kids get older and they get more involved in sports and church activities and things like that, it's harder to be gone during the week. So my team is scattered everywhere across the country. Mostly at this point, still in the US. We've got some in Australia, some in Canada, some in Mexico. And I know that that's going to continue to grow. And I'm so excited for that. But I would say, from a standpoint of balance of where my life is right now, I'm really trying to focus more locally, but I do a lot of Zooms and I do a lot of phone calls and I drive a lot of three-way calls with my team from a standpoint of coaching them, but also from a standpoint of connecting with them. And, you know, you can't be everywhere at one time. You want to be, certainly. I think that, again, to quote Brent, like you find the gold. Like it's almost like you're sifting through a lot of things and people in order to find the ones who show up different. Like they want to learn. They're blowing your phone up. It's not like you're chasing them. And my team knows that I'm going to do whatever I can from a scheduling perspective to assist them when it comes
All you
to
have to do is pick it up. I already
helping
posted that.
them build their business along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. I mean, it's a balancing act, and I love that you brought up your children and keeping those boundaries. A lot of people were worried. It does take a real big push for a certain amount of time in this industry, depending on what your goals are, right? I mean, if you
Yeah.
have goals, I know your goals are very, very large goals as well. But I think that we can do it. There are people on this call who work full time and still do this business. There are people who have 4 kids, 6 kids, 2 kids,
Hmm.
and are still able to do this. It's about balancing it, right? It's about finding the way it fits into your life.
Yeah.
Um, what maybe do you think, what do you think it is that drove you to be a top leader? Like what do you think it is? I mean, was it a want, a need? Is the one you mentioned wanting to stay home with your 22-month-old daughter, right? Um, and so was it really that pushed you and drove you into learning? Because one of the biggest things here is actually no one's an overnight success, and very few. It's very
Yeah.
rare, right? I mean, I failed multiple times before I succeeded. And Chris Doyle and I both at our own time frames, we kind of what we call sucked. Sucked. right?
Same.
I was good at something, but I wasn't good at this, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a while, and I'm still learning. What would you say to the person who's new or who just hasn't had the level of success they want? What would you say as far as what the next moves or what's the daily habits that somebody new into the industry, maybe they're limited on time, but what can they do or what do you recommend to your new team members who tell you, Haley Lee, I need to earn XYZ, or I really, really want to be able to earn enough to stay at home with my children or something like that. What advice do you give them?
That's a great question. I'll tell you just my personal experience. I never saw myself as a stay-at-home mom, to be honest. Like I was the corporate girl and I had big goals to climb the ladder. And that's really selfishly what I thought I would do. I had a big life change in 2012 when my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer and he passed away within 7 months. And so it was that line in the sand moment that really made me think, is this what I want? You know, is this, is the plan that I have for my life truly, at the end of the day, what I want my life to look like 30 years down the road?
Mhm.
And going through that at 31 was such you know, again, line in the same moment because it really made me evaluate. And during that time that he was sick, I found myself throwing myself into my business because it felt like that was the only thing that I had any control of when my life felt like it was spiraling. And so my dad always said the only way to get ahead, Haley, is to work for yourself. And, you know, I knew that he was very supportive of me starting that initial business with my first company. And the God story of that, for those of you that haven't heard it before, is that when he passed away, I was 12 weeks pregnant with my daughter, and she ended up being born on his birthday. And so they share that. And so after she was born, it really wasn't that I even knew. You know, you're handed this baby, and you're like, what do I do with this thing? But once I had her was really when that fire in my belly started heating up, and it was like, this is what I want. It is the flexibility and it's the options, and having the option to say I'm done. Like I'm walking away from this. Life is short. I want to choose how I spend my day and my time. And ultimately that's what led me to really lean in and start building to find my escape path. I know that there's a lot of people, most people, who build a network marketing direct sales business around a full time job. And I did that for the first, I don't know, almost 3 years. But what I would tell you is that the work time that you have to build Partner Co needs to solely be focused on your income producing activity, your personal business, especially if you have those large goals of walking away from corporate or to really make a run with this in order to get to the bigger paychecks. You've got to put your head down and decide what it is that you want out of this and be relentless to go get it. Because the truth of the matter is, especially if you're new, it's you can write yourself a blank check in this industry. And coming from the HR world where everyone was, pigeonholed, if you will, between their experience and their education, someone else deems what your time is worth. And so, for me, what I love about network marketing is that the money goes to the hustler. It's not, it doesn't matter if you have a GED or if you have an MD. It it favors the people that are the worker bees and the ones who continue to show up. And so for someone that's new, I would say you've got to make a decision around what it is that you want. And you may not know what that long-term goal looks like, but start small. Like if your first goal is $250 a week or 500 a month or whatever that is, like lock in on that, go knock that out, and then you can continue to build. And to your point, Cindy, like most people don't come in here automatically being a rock star. Like it is a gradual thing. And I think what happens, like I was thinking about this analogy earlier, is at the beach when you see a baby that's just learning to walk and they're kind of getting their legs steady and they're so cute in their diaper and their swimsuit and their chunky legs and they're standing in that sand and the water hits them and it knocks them down and they look shocked for a second. And mom has the camera going and dad's trying to, wipe the tears away and get the sand out of their mouth. But it's kind of like that when you're building and especially when you're starting out, you're very wobbly. And so people's opinions and their judgments and their skepticism can really knock you down. The people that you feel like are going to be the ones to support you aren't usually the ones that do. And so it's just that continual showing up for yourself and being willing to go through the fire of self development that is what allows for you long term to build something that, gives you options that you might not have right now.
That is so true. And I know that you and I have talked about this. I know Michelle McKay's on here today, and she and I've had this conversation. If people realize this is a real business and a real opportunity, and if you treat it like that, even if it's just a few hours a week, even if it's income producing activities, it's so good. And I mean, I think what you just said is so powerful. So many nuggets in that, just that this last little segment that you were talking about. And I think that really, when you were mentioning that it's the income producing activities, and I love when you said, figure out what it is to start with, because your belief goes up as you get this step and then this step, and not just your belief, but your confidence goes
Hmm.
up, right?
Yeah.
And your belief in yourself. But I do think that when you hit on the income producing activity, of course, we're moderators on the IPA call, and many people on here this morning are on the IPA regularly. Some of the people on here can't get on because of a job that's at that time frame. But I think that the key to that is when we're so appreciative of everybody who gets on the IPA or on this call, but those are not the income producing activities, right?
Right.
Being on this call or being on an evening call or the corporate call, those are to get your belief, your community together.
Yeah.
It's to see it working for other people so that therefore you can get your belief, right? And so I think it's people understanding what the difference is. And what would you say the key income producing activities that a new person, if you're training a new person on your team, what are those things? Because I do think that these calls and the community part is so important because of what you just said. People will knock you down early on. I had it,
Yeah.
you had it, we've all had it. Every person at the top of Partner Co. You know, rankings has had it. I
Yeah.
don't believe anybody hasn't. I
Right.
believe John Wadsworth had it. I know Darren Zobrist. What are you talking about? You bought a network marketing business, right? I mean, you know that he got that feedback. So, what do you tell a new person as far as how much what to plug into, but also how to make sure they're getting those done, or how would you get launch a new person?
So, system of growth, definitely. I think that we've learned a lot with that over the first couple of years that I've been here. I try to make sure that people understand that's a passive way of collecting customers who may eventually turn into brand partners, but that's not all that you're doing to build a business. I think, again, going back to listening to what they're telling you they need out of this is huge because um, not everybody wants what I want out of Partner Co., and that's okay. But I think that if they're really wanting to earn consistent income, the faster that they can start reaching out to people and sharing the opportunity with them to learn more about what it is that they're doing, if they're open to a conversation, and then bringing that person to a validation opportunity, whether it's to an event or to a three-way call or a Zoom or whatever it is, the faster you can get someone in action, the better. To your point, you're so right that these calls or the IPA calls, they are a great way for people to plug in. For those that work full time and can't be on the IPA call, the recordings of the IPA call would be something that I would do on a commute. Like, you don't have to watch it, you just need to listen to it. And you can even listen to it on a faster speed in order to save your time. But setting boundaries around your time is so important, even from day one. Because if you only have that 30-minute window to work Partner Co. because of all the other things that are happening in your life, 25 of those 30 minutes really needs to be spent on reaching out to people. And, I don't mean commenting on Facebook, like as you're scrolling Facebook and you get lost in the time wasting time that is. Like, you just have to stay in control of what you do. I'll be honest with you, like, I have a timer that sits on my desk, and I set a timer for my income producing activity because that has to be taken care of.
Love that.
um Initially,
Yeah.
you've got to protect your time. I protect my time when it comes to three-way calls and team. Like, time is money, right? Like, you've got to protect it from a standpoint of, I try to keep three-way calls to like 15 to 20 minutes tops, depending on the number of questions that somebody has. I don't I don't sit on Zoom for 2 hours or keep people on the phone because I know in my mind, if I want my time respected, I have to respect theirs as well. And I think duplication really starts from the first interaction that you have with people. And people are constantly thinking, can I do this? Can I do this? And so, even at events, like, I'll put out water and maybe have coffee or, very light snacks. I don't put out a full buffet worth of a spread of food because, again, people are thinking from the very beginning, like, can I do this? And you want them to know that they can in very short increments of time throughout their day.
That is so good. I love the timer thing. I mean, I think I could use the timer thing myself. I haven't done that yet, but now I'm suddenly thinking I have to run somewhere when I get off this call and get myself a timer on my desk.
Amazon.
Um, yeah, it's but because it's easy when you work from home. And I've
Yeah.
worked from home for many years, even with my other businesses. I've worked from home off and on for many years. You really do have to do something to keep the distractions out because it's very easy to say, "Oh, the laundry needs done. Oh, I need to go, you know, chop something
Water
up."
the plants. Yeah.
So I love the idea of setting a timer for I'm going to block off time and really just here's my list of income producing activities that I'm going to do for the next 1 hour or 2 hours and set it that way. Gosh, I love that. That's such a great tip. You're just full of all kinds of good information today, Haley Lee. I'm
Full
learning
of
so
something.
much.
I don't know about good tips.
No,
Full
you
of
are.
something.
You are. I love it. And now to change gears a little bit because I think you've given so many nuggets and encouragement to people, but there's a lot going on right now and it can get overwhelming almost. We've got Epic, right? We just came off of a Black Friday deal. And then and we do have a question about capital, which we'll get into as well. We'll ask that question as well. But we actually we have all this stuff going on. And so I want to talk about how do people utilize all these different things, not get overwhelmed about it, not get stressed out about it. I don't like people being stressed out about it. It's to help build you. And so I don't know if you want to go into that yet or answer the tap rooting. So Mark asked a good question, and a couple people would like that answer as well. What process do you use to tap root with, your personal brand partners? Um, is that through the three-way call so that you're helping them with their people, and that way if they get, distracted for a while, you're still there to help the person that was excited when they joined? Or if you want to answer
Yeah,
that.
so I tell people that I do a three-way call with, as kind of a wrap up to the call, I always say, um, you know, Tina can connect us in a group text so that you know that I'm here as an additional layer of support to you as you get started, whether it's on the product or on the business. I don't, to be honest, go through and save every person's name in my phone as this is so and so's prospective VP, but like I do want them to at least have my contact information so that if they have questions, whether it's about products or business, that they know that I'm available to them. I think again, from a taprooting perspective, over time, your organization becomes really large. There's no way to keep up with everyone, but you recognize the ones who are showing up. You recognize the ones who keep their subscription on. You recognize the people who are reaching out to you asking for your input or your guidance on how to handle a particular situation, or what do I do with this? Do I email compliance or do I call corporate or whatever? And those are the people that I focus on more, because I see them showing up and I see them wanting to learn and I see them hosting events or, things like that. How to spot gold as it looks different, right? And so you just kind of identify people over time and you build relationships with them and trust. And so that's really my way of taproting, I guess. I don't care who sponsors whom. I don't care what line of business they're in. I focus on all lines of my business because that's that's important. Like there's a sweet component to our comp plan called match pay. And until once you learn that and understand how it works, you want everyone to win. And so I really try to work with literally anyone and help them however I can. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
I think it does. Yeah, they just had a question on that, and I kind of missed it a little bit there in time. But go ahead and move on into, your thoughts just on what's going on right now. Epic. I know Nashville. You and I have been very involved in a couple things going on there with
yeah.
a handful of people as far as the launch of a new product, and I'm excited. I know that. I know you are. But Epic and it combined, all these things combined, I mean, the numbers Brent gave the other day on what it's doing for the growth in the company, and that equates to your business as well. But everyone watching this, and if they're not participating yet, it's get involved because these little sparks, right,
Yeah.
can ignite anyone's business. And I have two people right now who just with these couple combination of the Epic, not even to the launch yet, their business has went literally in 2 to 3 weeks in a totally different direction, right? It's
Yeah.
totally taken off. So go ahead and just talk to us about what's coming up and your thoughts on it, and what you're going to do to encourage your team, and what you think people should know about them.
I love the Epic Club. I love the fact that it's kind of based on something that was here when Partner Code formed, because many of us weren't a part of the company at that time, and so you've heard of the Catalyst Club in the past and you think, well, gosh, I wish I could be a part of that. And now's the chance to do that. It has a different name, obviously, but it's the same premise from what I understand. And so I'm really leaning into this with my team, and we're seeing massive amounts of recruiting and sponsoring and achievements that have already taken place just in these first few weeks. And it's really because I'm encouraging them to focus on one at a time, not four, not eight, like one at a time, because you can break it down in bite-sized pieces and it feels more achievable than if you focus on the bigger picture. So I think the way that Epic is set up is brilliant. I love the length of time that we have to achieve.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just you missed out. If it's 2 weeks in and you didn't hit it, then you're out of luck kind of thing. I think it rewards people to stay plugged in. Summertime is a busy time and people are traveling and they're all over the place. And so a lot of times in my previous company anyway, people would check out for the most part during the summer.
Yeah.
And I love that Epic is keeping people engaged through a really busy season for a lot of people where you're on the go. And this is kind of a tangent, but like I love to recruit as I travel because that's just building my business, which allows for your travel to be a write off. But that's another subject we won't touch today. But I love the whole philosophy behind it because it's building us into this season going into the Nashville event and coming out of it, where we are launching a new product that in and of itself is $1 billion product a year. I think that the product is going to be huge, but building with the product and keeping with that income producing activity focus in order to allow the product and the timing and the opportunity to achieve Epic to really be your vehicle to launch you into the fall, where we go into PXP, our biggest truly corporate event of the year. And it just continues to feed your excitement. So one of the things that I'm really focused on is recognition. I'm encouraging my leaders to recognize their people for every milestone of this epic achievement. It's important, especially for people that don't have the support. I'm very blessed in that my husband has been so very supportive of me the whole way. But the reality is that that's not the reality for everyone. And so the more you can make people feel seen and encouraged, and you're celebrating everything that they do, not only does it keep them engaged, but it validates what they're doing and who they're becoming and what they're building. And so I just think that that's important to love on your people and to serve them well. And I feel like in a lot of ways, serving my team is what I really genuinely love about this business, because I know that there are people who are struggling financially. And it's a struggle when you're not making a lot of money yet to continue to show up. But I also see the big picture of what we have with Partner Co. And if there was a third party investor, for example, or if I question John and Darren's intentions for Partner Co. long term, I wouldn't be here. I've been blessed, fortunate to have the opportunity to travel with them and their families and to get to know them on a more personal level. But I do believe, based on their travel schedule just for the last 12 months, they're showing up, they're traveling all over the world, and they don't have to. And so when I evaluate what I'm doing to help them build the company, build the brand awareness that we have, encourage people to use the products and achieve their best quality of life through their health, And for those that are interested to lock arms and build a business that they can be proud of, it's a beautiful picture that comes together. And everybody makes up a different component of that, but truly we are better together through the process. So,
Yeah. No, that's that. I mean, I agree with everything you said. And I think it is once you know what we know. I mean, once you really know it and you've been through another company or you've been there, you just see it so clearly what we have here, right? And then the Epic
yes.
Club, I agree that summer months are always tough because it's distracting. I think before we let everybody in on the call, I said I have like half my team going on vacation this week, and I'm like, you can't all go together. You have to call me before, we have to schedule these. But
Yeah.
and I'm joking, of course, but do what Haley said and use your vacation as a business building tool and write off. I like that.
I'm not a
So
CPA. Talk to your CPA, but
yeah,
yes.
exactly, exactly. So we have about 15 minutes left. We try to keep this on time, but I know you touched on traveling and trips. I know we have the new product launching, and it's launching at Nashville. So just going into that, because I know you really are pretty excited. I've been behind the scenes with you on a couple little committees, and it's pretty significant. But going into these next couple of weeks, what advice can you give to people to realize we've had other product launches before, so people are like, oh, it's just another product and things like that, but it really can be a game changer in your business, and this one specifically. But just thoughts on that a little bit about the launch and Nashville specifically.
So I'm looking at Nashville almost like a mini PXP. I feel like there's a lot of buy in from leaders across the company, from corporate, obviously. Um, Again, it's like a groundswell. That's really the only word that I can think of to use. There's a lot of energy and time and excitement being poured into this event. And I think it's twofold because you've got the boot camp leading into the product launch. And the boot camp, for those of you that were able to attend in Destin, was such a pivotal opportunity. And I've, over the years, paid thousands of dollars in training that the boot camp that was and will be provided to us in Nashville, there's really not a price tag on that because you're hearing from so many different leaders and it's real and raw talk. It's not scripted, it's not rehearsed, it's just honest. And leading into that event where you've had 2 days for those who can attend, and I know not everybody can, but for those who can be in the room to allow themselves to be taught and to be poured into and mentored and to really reflect on what they're being taught and to think through like, I can do this. I can not just goal set. It's not some pie in the sky. Like you've got to get serious. Again, I think it boils down to a decision.
Yeah.
What you're willing to do, how often you're willing to show up, no matter how hard it gets. And you allow yourself to be the student. One thing that I really try to do is to always be learning. Yes, I have a lot of experience in the industry, but I can always learn something new in order to apply to my business to get better. And so if you're open to that mentorship and know that it's coming from a place of love, not from a place of trying to beat you up and make you feel guilty and all of that, like keep the feelings out of it and just be encouraged by other people's experience and know that your experience is going to continue to evolve. And to your point earlier, Cindy, your confidence, that's the most important thing. But you've got the 2 day event leading into the product launch. I'm very excited about this product. I don't have experience using it in the past. And so, therefore, it's still very, very new to me. I don't know what to all expect out of the product for myself long term, but just the testimonies that are coming out of it so far are really powerful. And so I think it's going to be a key player as part of our product portfolio overall to be able to go share with people. And the fact that we get to be on the front end of this before it gets into the hands of millions
Hmm.
is really truly a beautiful opportunity. And again, it boils down to the individual person as to how big they want that to make an impact in their life and their family and their business. But I think it's kind of like an open playing field. Like you get to decide. It's a blank slate. And so regardless of what your business has looked like this year or the whole time that you've been at Partner Co, the beauty of this industry is that you don't have to restart. Like, you don't have to start over. You just have to start. Like, you just have to make the decision that going forward, things are going to be different. And I'm going to be more committed and I'm going to take this seriously if you've just been playing with it. And so, you know, Nashville is going to be huge for so many reasons because of the mentorship that's going to be available in that room, but the timing of the product launch in conjunction with Epic.
Hmm.
I'm telling my team Epic is the sole focus going into PXP.
Agreed.
Yes, we've had a summer Black Friday sale. Yes, there's going to be a product launch. So you're going to be able to, bring in new people and get more customers on the product and things like that. It's learning to ride the wave and it's learning to navigate the noise because there's always going to be noise, but stay focused on Epic, for example, um, or whatever your goal is for your business and your team in order to move the needle along the way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can't, you actually literally just summed that up perfectly because the Epic is, um, I don't think it's not just a contest. It's not just a
No,
promotion. It really can be the springboard for people's business. And if they really understood that, it's not just let's throw a bunch of people in there so we get some sort of reward. It's to build your business. It's really
mhm.
to get you to where you want to be. So I do agree with you there. I know PXP, the company has some really big things coming
Yeah,
down through the end of this year. So this launch, Epic, and going into Nashville, these are just one more step of what's coming this year. It's completely it blows my mind when I think about
yeah,
it. And I don't know everything, but I know enough to know it's blowing my mind with what I do know.
yeah,
So I would say that really just I love everything that you're saying because I think when people go to Nashville, if they were in Destin, it's not about you or myself or Chris Doyle or Todd or Brent or any of the leaders that we say, the
right.
people that hit the rank of something that they consider a leadership role here at Partner Co. It's about you. It's about you if
Mhm.
you started last week or 2 years ago and you're still sitting at, it doesn't matter, right? Team lead, manager, those things don't matter. It's about coming to the boot camp about you,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
not to hear what you have to say or I have to say or any of the rest of it. It is, but it's so that it's not so you can cheer us on or the people who are getting those kudos, so to speak, right in front of the room or
yeah,
anything. It's about you. It's about your family. It's about your team. And
Hmm.
so I think really in everything you've said here today, you're really focusing in on that without, maybe I summarize pretty much what you're laying out for people, that this is about you. It's about
Yeah.
your decision, meaning you watching this today. It's about your decision that, I can be there, or I can be wherever your goal is. It doesn't have to be, a specific one to what we're doing or what we're talking about, but I think it really is. If you're going to make a commitment and come to the boot camp or come to the event, you guys, I think it's a time that when you do that, don't just do it to be there. Don't do it
Right.
just so you can say you're there. Don't do it just so you have a something to post on social media. Do it to build your business. Do it to change your family's life. Do it for to change your circumstances, or to whatever that is that you're going for. I just had to say that because everything you've said, it's exciting. You're not a hype person, and I love that actually about you. I'm not very
I'm
good at
not.
hype either, a little bit, but not very good at it. But I think it's what people need to hear, because this isn't about hype. It's about a business. It's about an opportunity that's real, and it's real. I mean, it just is. It's changed my life. The industry has. It's changed your life. It's changed so many people on here's lives, and it can change anyone that chooses. You wanted to close us out? We have 4 minutes.
Yeah. I'll close this out. It's easy to believe in John and Darren because they've proven themselves to be incredible leaders. It's easy to believe in the products because chances are you've had some sort of experience with a single product in our portfolio. I can name a dozen that I take every day. It's easy to believe that other people can do it because they've proven themselves, which sometimes can lead to unnecessary competition, which can be that wave that takes you out.
Yeah.
It's harder to believe in you, and it's harder sometimes to continue to show up for you. But I would tell you again to get very clear on making the decision for what this is going to be for you and your family. And your outcome is probably going to look very different from anyone else's. And so set those boundaries around what your focus is, what your goals are, what your income producing activity looks like. You know, stay very true to yourself. Pray about what God would have your business provide for you and your family, and how you can use it to bless other people along the way. I'm in the middle, my daily Bible reading right now is in Proverbs, and that's such a wise book of the Bible from a standpoint of building, who we are supposed to be. But I truly believe that the most important thing that can come out of a business is not necessarily how much money you make. It's not how many people you have on your team. It's refining yourself and figuring out what through through prayer, through time invested with personal development and leaning into your business and just continuing to show up day after day. Again, it just becomes this beautiful picture that it's probably not going to look anything like what you imagined it to initially, but it's going to be beautifully you. And anyway, that's it. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I again learn something new every single day. I'm excited for our future, and I'm excited for everyone to be a part of this because everyone can win at Partner Co.
Oh, that's absolutely a mic drop right there. Haley Lee, you've been an amazing guest today. I appreciate you. I know Chris Doyle appreciates you, even though he couldn't be here today. I hope you guys send this out to team members who may get something out of this, because Haley Lee really just put so many incredible nuggets. Show her some love, you guys. I'm going to unmute everybody. You can feel free to thank Michelle, and I think it's unmuted people, but I'm not sure.
Thank you. That was great.
Thank you, Haley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you,
both.
Haley. That was
Thank you. I
incredible.
needed that pep talk. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Haley.
Haley. It was
Can't wait to meet
incredible.
you.
Thank you.
Yes,
God
thank you
Great
bless.
job,
both so
ladies.
Thanks,
much.
Randall.
Grateful for you.
Thank
Thank you, Haley.
Thank
God
you.
bless
you.
Thank you,
you.
Cindy.
so much, Haley and Michelle. Thank you so much.